One of the toughest parts about being an author, especially an author that wants to sell more books, is marketing and promotion. There seems to be an endless supply of things we can do for marketing and promotion. It wasn't until more recently that AppSumo was running a deal on a marketing software called StoryAd. Now, I've talked about StoryAd in the past. Heck, I even broke ground with it back in 2020. But you fast forward some time later, and they had this lifetime deal available through AppSumo. Sorry, it's not there anymore. And I was like, all in. Let's do this. And so I ended up getting a lifetime access to this book marketing software called StoryAd. And I'd already been in touch with the founder and CEO of the company, Ramzi Hajj. Now, Ramzi is just an exceptional guy. I said, hey, I would love to sit down, talk to you about what went into making StoryAd, what is the thought process behind it, and how can authors maximize the most out of StoryAd? Because I've got access myself, and I would love to have those answers, and I'm sure some of you would like to have those answers too as well. If you're not familiar with StoryAd, by the way, you can go ahead and visit my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/StoryAd and use the coupon code DALE25, that's DALE25, to get 25% off for a limited time. So let's go on into this interview with Ramzi. It's very insightful. I think you're going to enjoy it. I'll see you on the inside of this interview. All right, Ramzi, it's the dust has settled off this AppSumo deal that we did here with StoryAd, and wow, it was quite the campaign. A lot of authors were super excited about things, but let's back it up just a little bit.
Sure.
If you were to explain what StoryAd is in just an elevator pitch, what is StoryAd?
The elevator pitch for StoryAd is fairly straightforward. We want to provide authors everything they need in order to build and manage a long-term, comprehensive, customized book promotion campaign. So pretty much anything an author may need, especially a self-published author, anything that they may need in order to go out and find those people most likely, or groups, people or groups most likely to want to read, review, and or buy the book. They're going to find extreme value in using StoryAd.
Nice. It's one of the reasons why I'm so super excited about StoryAd is the fact that it removes a lot of the friction that would normally be in place. I mean, we've got all the contacts in the contacts database, but that's all well and good until we actually have some type of a marketing plan. And you guys have the marketing plan wizard. But before we jump into all those amazing like tools and such, take me back. When did you think about doing StoryAd, and what was the inspiration behind doing it?
Sure. Well, the inspiration was a very good friend of mine who had spent years and years writing the book, and then years and years trying to get it published. And then he finally did get it published. And I think he sold something in the neighborhood of 200, 225 copies. And he was less than pleased. And at that time, I was an economist for one of the big four accounting firms in Los Angeles. And I got to studying the book publishing, book marketing market, and realized that it's a grossly inefficient market, meaning that so many new and really wonderful books come out every year, but because of the size of the market and because of the limited amount of book marketing or book promotion support that the vast majority of authors either get or are willing to put forth, a lot of these books aren't getting the attention that they deserve. And so I figured, in my capacity as somebody who really wants to help people understand how to better understand how markets work, especially the book promotion market, we started building a series of interactive software features, and then we integrated on the StoryAd platform. And we really developed the software to answer a series of questions that the author is going to have invariably when they go forth to try to market their books. And for each question that we identified, we created a software feature to answer that question, and then of course integrated them all onto the unified platform that is StoryAd.
Gotcha. It's quite the massive tool. And I know that some people might feel some overwhelm. What would you recommend that a new author on StoryAd, where should they start, and what's the logical progression of using the tools so I can maximize the most out of using StoryAd?
Sure, that's a really great question, because for us, that is a really big concern. A lot of times, Actually, the vast majority of times that authors come to StoryAd, especially if they're self-published, they're not going to have the experience or the knowledge of how to go about building and running an effective book promotion campaign. Although we do make it as easy as possible for them to understand how it's done, we understand that there are a lot of outstanding issues for them, and it leads to sometimes leads to frustration, and obviously that's not the kind of experience we want people to have on StoryAd. So,
Yeah.
to answer your question, the very first thing that the author should do is set up a call with StoryAd, because we are a very different kind of software company. We are a software company that's actually going to get on the phone with you, the author. We're going to walk you through the demo of how the whole network works, of how the whole platform works. We're going to talk about your book. We're going to talk about your book promotion strategies, and we're going to talk about how you can use StoryAd to achieve your book promotion goals. And
Nice.
you're going to find that the one-on-one, and there's no limit to it. I mean, you could set up as many calls as you want over a period of, how long you want to do it. And it's a truly customized one-on-one experience. And what you're going to find very quickly is, as we show you how to use the platform, you're going to say, you know what, I probably don't need to do the one-on-one, because pretty much everything I need is inside the platform.
Mhm.
From a series of really helpful checklists to that book marketing plan wizard that you discussed, Dale.
Yeah, I like
Uh,
that.
yeah, it's there, and it's AI. It's AI backed, meaning that the AI understands you, the author understands your particular book, and it understands the market that your book is competing in, and it's going to find you the answers. Um, it's just a question of how to use it, and it's very easy to use. But when you set up that call with us, we're going to show you how to do it, and then we can remove all that sort of trial and error stuff that sometimes leads to frustrations, and set you on the path to book marketing success.
I didn't even realize this option was available, but thankfully, for some reason, I felt it was an intuitive workflow to me. I just
Mm-hmm.
kind of worked my way through getting the profile done, getting my books uploaded, getting the website propagated, and then going through the contacts database and starting to sift through it. If there was anything that you would recommend to me, someone who has used this platform for a little bit, what are some of the things you think the authors are missing that are available through StoryAd? Because there are a lot of great features, but what is the one that you see most overlooked?
I think the one that's most overlooked is the time management.
Ooh.
Ultimately, where we want to help authors work better, we want to help them work more efficiently. You may have all the tools, that you need, and you may have all the knowledge and the background and support you may need, but if you don't have the time, and if you don't have the organized time in which to put all these plans into effect over a sustained period of time, and when I say sustain, I'm talking 3, 4, 5, 6 months, maybe even up to 9 months for any given book.
Yeah.
You're going to probably not have the kind of success that you do if you actually put forth the time. And so StoryAd is going to help you better understand not only how to put together this customized book promotion campaign that's unique to you as an author and to you, the author of your particular work, but it's also going to help you better organize your time. And ultimately, it's time plus experience, or times experience equals book marketing success. And we say
Mhm.
this because we know statistically how authors who are spending time and who are uh, 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 sort of utilizing all the features that StoryAd offers, we know for a fact, because we talk with them. They're our best customers, and they're the ones who give us all the ideas of for new features, or how to improve features, or how to
Mhm.
tweak features, whatever the case may be. So the overlooked thing is time management, and we want to help you manage your time in the most efficient way possible.
One of the things I discovered as we were working on this campaign here with AppSumo and StoryAd was a lot of people think that StoryAd brings the traffic to them. How is this a misunderstanding, and how do you explain that to some folks who really don't quite get what StoryAd's meant to do?
Right. I love that question. I love it because we get that a lot.
Mhm.
A lot of people think that StoryAd is um, a marketplace of sorts, where
Yeah.
I, the author, will upload my book, and then it will be there for people to show up and to peruse it and to buy it.
Mhm.
No, that's not what StoryAd is at all.
Yeah.
All StoryAd what StoryAd is merely simply a software. What we call it a DIY plus model, a do-it-yourself book promotion campaign development software company,
Hmm.
where you take all these really great tools, you customize them the way you want, in a very sort of quote unquote drag and drop kind of way. You know, that's how you build your campaign. And the plus part of the DIY plus is us. We will get on the phone with you. We will have that Zoom call. We will do the demo. We will talk about your book and your strategies, and then off you go. So, StoryAd is selling you the tools. StoryAd is selling you the guidance. StoryAd is selling you the support, and it's up to you to build and run and manage a long-term effective book marketing campaign.
That's nice. I think there was so much misunderstandings. A lot of people think that it was a marketplace, and I'm like, no, no.
Yes,
You don't worry about the web traffic they're getting. You're going to be responsible for doing the traffic to drive
that's
it to
right.
your author profile, to drive it
That's
to
right.
your website. It's just there's so much, and I'm glad that we're having this discussion because I don't want anybody getting this and thinking, oh man, I don't have anybody coming here. Well, did you promote it? No.
Right.
You're supposed to promote it.
That's right.
That's what the reason it's there.
That's true. I mean, sometimes people think that StoryAd is panacea, meaning that okay, I'm on StoryAd, I'm waiting for good things to happen. Unfortunately, I wish that were the case, but it's not. We're selling you a very powerful tool, and we're providing you with the support to manage that tool. But it's your proactive use of that tool that's going to get you the results that you need.
That's good. You and I had crossed paths originally about 4 years ago now. Actually, it was early 2020
I can't
before
believe
the
it.
whole nasty COVID-19 settled it
Mhm.
here into the United States and such. And I remember initially I was super excited about things, but for whatever reason, I just got distracted and I completely forgot about StoryAd. Well, you circle back around to 2023, all of a sudden, I see a completely different StoryAd. It's the same process, but it had a different user interface. I believe it even had a wider data contacts database. So, share with me what was that process like over the past few years for you to evolve StoryAd to what it's become today?
Sure. Uh, Process of trial and error. You're out there in the wild and you're working with a lot of authors. You're hearing back from a lot of authors. You're working with a lot of publishers, hearing back from a lot of publishers, working with a lot of consultants, book marketing consultants, hearing back from them. And that's really what it was. You know, we sort of put out this sort of Veep 1.0, and it was doing what it was what it promised to do. But clearly, just like in any software, you know, software is a process of perpetual iteration.
Mhm.
And we found that there were a lot of things that could have been done better, and so we started making things better, and we started expanding a lot of these features. We expanded the database. We incorporated AI into the book marketing wizard. We segmented the wizard out. Actually, the first wizard was a complete report. Now, when you go in and you see the wizard is very compartmentalized and it answers very specific questions
Yeah.
that pertain to your book and your target market. So really, 100% of the evolution of StoryAd, even from a whiteboard idea back in the day to now, it's been 100% market driven. What's working, what's not working, what's not confusing, and what's confusing. So we're trying to make what's not confusing even less not confusing, and we're trying to make what is confusing less confusing. And that was a very confusing way to say that, but there you go.
It was well put, though.
Yeah, yeah, I guess. I mean, in my little walnut, it made perfect sense. But anyway,
Yeah.
yes. I mean, it's we love authors, and I personally am. I love books, and I've always loved books, and I've always loved the creative process, and I really, 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 really want to see authors across the board succeed. I honestly believe that every single book ever published has a market.
Yeah.
There's no such thing as a terrible book, just like there's no such thing as the end all of books. Um, and and I mean, it's hard to find that market, and we want to make it that much easier for authors to find the market for their books, and
Nice.
that's what's driven our change over time.
What's been your biggest challenge in developing StoryAd over these years?
Get I love this question because I've been saying the same answer
Yeah.
for a long time. Our biggest challenge is getting authors to um, follow a checklist,
Mm.
go from A to B to C. I hate to say this, but it's a process, and I know that the being creative isn't always necessarily process driven. But when it comes to running a book promotion campaign, is we as authors have got to think in a process oriented manner. You start at A, you go down to Z, you rinse and you come back and you do it all over again over a sustained period of time. And that's what it comes down to. And that's been the biggest challenge. A lot of times, for example, Dale, I mean, people will go in to StoryAd, and the very first thing they do, they'll jump to the database, right? And
Yeah,
start
it is
poking around
pretty
the
cool.
database. Yeah. Like, no, 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 you can't do it. I mean, you should, it's okay to take a look, but you can't forsake the other stuff. You can't forsake the
Yeah.
setting things up and, doing the interview questions and setting up your author website to make it look good and generating a bunch of marketing plans. I mean, there's a lot of stuff that goes into getting you ready to actually start contacting people. The contacting and the emailing, the email outreach that we provide is the sort of pièce de résistance. You know what I mean? That's it. That's the creme de la creme. That's what you're shooting for. You're shooting for a really polished message that goes out to talk about you and your book. And then, of course, you come back, you start again. And again, the challenge has been getting people to agree to follow a certain process. And
Yeah.
we're constantly working on that to make it easier, more appealing, less scary, maybe, or less daunting, although it's not really daunting, but it can seem daunting. But
Yeah.
once like anything else, I mean, once it's up and running, it's working, and it's working in many ways. Uh, it's a lot of front loaded effort. 80% of your book promotion stuff really goes into setting it up, and then that sort of 15-20% going out is the effort you have to put forth once everything is set up. So it's worthwhile taking the time to set things up properly.
Yeah, totally agreed. And it's a little time consuming, but you only have to do it once. And to
Right, you
me,
just do it
that's
once.
it's
Exactly.
worthwhile because then I can indefinitely be able to promote my author profile or even my website and bring traffic that way. I'm
Right, and then
curious.
also, I'm sorry, just a
Good.
caveat, and especially if you either have a backlisted books that you're looking to promote, or you're
Mhm.
going to be publishing new books. I mean, once
Mm.
you establish yourself and you establish your system, your campaign, your processes, have you, everything else becomes, you just plug and play. You can
Yeah.
plug and play older books or newer books. I mean, it's there already. It's a true physical asset that's yours. It's your book marketing asset that's valuable on any author's balance sheet. Anyway, so I mean, that's the way I think of it, and that's the way I'd love authors to think of it. And hopefully over time we'll help authors see it in that light.
Yeah. So I'm curious now. Hopefully, you're willing to discuss a little bit of. Are you planning on doing any further iterations of StoryAd, and will those iterations include any new tools or any improvement to the current tools that you have?
Oh yes, 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 without a doubt. I mean, there's some really fun stuff coming up.
Nice.
One, we're going to expand on the AI. We're going to have a marketing assistant who follows you, and not in a creepy way. I mean, they're there. They're not stalking you in an
Yeah.
Orwellian Big Brother way. Although I guess they are. I don't know. I won't get into that. So they're there, and I mean they're there, and it's a personal assistant that acts like a personal assistant. And at the moment, we're trying to figure out a really cool name for it. So if anybody hears this podcast and wants to send the suggestions, please do. What's a really cool name for an AI generated personal assistant that helps you run a book marketing campaign? The second thing is
Hmm.
this is going to be mid year 2024. Is we want to evolve StoryAd. Everybody, I'm hoping people know what a CRM is. Like Salesforce is a CRM, a customer relationship management platform.
Hmm.
We are going to grow StoryAd into a full-fledged RRM, a reader relationship management program.
Oh.
And I'm not going to get into the details about what it is that what we're going to do or how we're going to do it, because that's sort of those are some of the trade secrets for now.
Yeah.
But it's going to give you even more. It's all about control. It's all about control and options and ease of use and all that kind of stuff that authors need, and just keep building on that. And as we move more and more towards the into the RRM model, then we can start incorporating a lot more stuff that's out there. We can start incorporating things in the physical, in the physical world, meaning conventions and help authors better maintain their distribution, things along these lines.
Yeah.
But that's forthcoming, and that's moved past the whiteboarding phase and is in the active development phase. But there are a lot of moving parts, and software being software. I'd love to give a definite date, but at this moment, we're just saying sort of midish 2024.
Yeah, very cool. I feel very fortunate to hear a little bit of what's coming down the pipeline. Hey, we're starting to get towards the end of our interview. And of course, I'm going to ask you the same thing I ask all of my guests. That is, what advice do you have for aspiring authors and self publishers out there?
The advice is do your homework. Um, uh, Understand your book's market. Understand that your audience is not simply going to find you just because you have a website. They're most certainly not going to find you just because you're out there doing some social media stuff. That's all really great stuff. But it has to be part of something bigger. And so, to plug the StoryAd angle, I mean, you're going to come to StoryAd, you're going to get everything you need, and do not forget to contact us. Establish that contact, because we will do right by you. We will help you get to where you want to go. So the advice is, study your market and get allies. I mean, go out there and get people who know the business. And if you perhaps don't know who you can contact, I'm letting you know right now. Contact us. We will be your ally. And that's not idle talk. Um, because for us, we want to create as vibrant a author author community as possible, and help each other get to where we want to go.